Hello and welcome to this module where we continue talking about combining or collating data from different worksheets. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how we can create different reports which consist of listings of employees from the main employee data, but we pick and choose which columns would like to include in that listing. So we are going to start by changing to the reports worksheet. So you click on reports worksheet, and in that reports worksheet, what we'd like to do is to create the first report, which consists of just the name of the person, their date of employment, the department they're employed, as well as the job title. So because this is a report that we are going to print, we need to think very carefully about the layout of the report. So firstly, I'm going to need a heading for the report. So let me probably start by going to view and changing the zoom so that you can see better. So I'm going to need a heading, which is normally the company name. So I will leave row number 1 for the heading. Then I would need a subheading, which is normally for the title of the report and also the date of the report. And then I'll leave number 3 just as a spacing between my headings and the main data, so that my columns will start only in row number 4. So this is where I'm going to start my columns. So I'm going to want to number my records, say from number 1 onwards. So column A, I will leave it for the number, and then column B will be the one that carries the first record. So like I said, I want the name of the person. So thank God we combined the name into a full name, where we took the title, the first name and the last name. So we are not going to retype this information. All we are going to do is we are going to point to where it is. So other people would copy and paste to this report, which is okay, it works for that time. But the moment the data changes in the employee table, you also have to come and paste again. So we don't want to keep on redoing the report. So instead of copying and pasting, we simply point to where the data is coming from, so that once it changes at the source, it also changes on our report. So the first thing we want are the column headings. So with our cursor in B4, we start our formula and say equal to, then we go to employee data and we click on the column heading full name, right? And we press enter. So now it shows us full name. So on the display it says full name, but in the formula bar it shows us there is a formula equal to employee data exclamation D1. So the next thing we want is the date on which the person was employed. So we say equal to, we go back to employee data, and then we look for start date. We click on the column heading for start date, and then the next two that we want are department, right? Let's go back here, is department and job title. So you can see that department is next to start date. So instead of copying department on its own, or rather putting the formula for department on its own, if I come here and just drag and copy to the right, it will automatically change the reference from the start date to the one which is next to it on the right. So because department is next to start date, it will automatically give us the correct figure here. But if I do the same like that, it will go to branch, but we are not looking for branch. What we want is the job title. So we know that job title is next to branch. I could type in the formula from scratch equal to, then I go to employee data, but I know already it is next to branch. So if branch is in N, then it means alphabetically after N comes O, right? So I can actually change this N to O, and it gives me the correct reference. The correct reference. So now we have full name, start date, department, and job title. So next, what we want is to map the actual data that goes under these columns. So logically, the first column comes immediately below the headings. So you might think, okay, let's just copy these down, right? Which works fine for the full name, the department, and the job title, because the heading and the information are of the same data type. In other words, this is a text and that is a text. But there's a problem with the date, because the heading and the data don't have the same data type. So we can copy and then we replace this one here, or you can actually map them individually. So for the purpose of practice, let us map so that you can learn how to map the data individually. So we come to the full name and we say equal to. So we want to point it to where the first name is, the first full name. So we say equal to, we go back to employee data, then the first full name is on this cell. That's where we click and we press enter. Same thing on start date, we say equal to, we go back to employee data and we look for the first start date, which is that one, and we press enter. So because we pointed it to another date, it picks the format for that date. We do the same for department, equal to, we want the first department, which is this one, and we press enter. And then also the first job title, equal to, go to employee data and we pick the first job title. So now that we have the data correctly, we can now copy this formula going down. So first we can come to the intersection of these columns, just double click, it will automatically adjust so that it fits the widest record. So then you can highlight and we copy this going down. So since I'm not sure where it ends, I'll just go as far as I can. Where there's no data, it just puts zeros, right? And where the data ends is clear. Yeah, that our data is ending here. So on the report, we can just leave it as it is, so that if we add the new records on the employee data, we don't have to come and recopy the formula again on the report. Okay, so far we have managed to transfer our information by simply pointing to it. So the next thing we are going to do would be to format this report so that it looks professional. Alright, so I would like you to do what we've done so far on your own spreadsheet, and then in the next video we start formatting this report. So see you in the next video.